As Mensch points out in his paper, the next generation of student athletic trainers is already recognizing early that the current generation is experiencing workplace abuse. Long hours, low pay, as well as low prestige begs the question of who does really want to be an athletic trainer? Until athletic trainers stand up for themselves, the greater incidence of student athletic trainers dropping out of accredited programs is going to continue to spike upwards until we're in a crisis within our profession. I was part of the problem, and now I want to help find a solution. I, unfortunately, did not see the true benefit of standing up for myself. Hindsight being 2020, but settling for less is never a great initial career move when you're a youthful athletic trainer. I did accept a position for well below normal pay as my first job. I felt it was my only option, and at that time it was my only option. Looking back, there probably were other options, but I wouldn't change the path I've taken right now for anything. I do still wear several hats outside of being an athletic trainer, but so does every other athletic trainer in the game of baseball. Do less challenged coworkers make more? Absolutely, but that's no different than the collegiate level or the high school level, where in high school athletic trainers are doing two things and being paid for the price of one job. There is always somebody who wants your job in the world in baseball or in athletic training in general. For me, until there's a trust as a professional society where an athletic trainer steps down, or athletic trainers, plural, step down to make a point, and other people don't come in behind them and take the jobs for less money. Until we reach that point as a society, I don't believe we'll ever get out of the below average pay for the time being. Initially recognizing that I had backed myself into a corner financially as well as professionally, I came to the conclusion that I do love what I do, so there would have to be ways to cope, as well as deal with the generalized situation until it had gotten better. As Reed and Giancobi spoke about their writings, there are several ways of coping. Social support, allowing for adjustment, positive outlooks, humor, as well as activities outside of athletic training are all great examples and are all things that I personally have done during the course of my career to get through things. Social support. Social support is always a great way to be able to speak to peers, family members, or other loved ones that can help you get through situations or just be a listening ear. Positive outlooks are always a way to get through the bad spots. Knowing what's around the corner or knowing that there's brighter days ahead help you to look past those rough patches of financial or professional insecurity. And activities outside of athletic training are always good to clear the mind, to move on, to not think about the workplace, to not think about the injuries, or to think about the things going on at work that frustrate you on a daily basis. Coping is always an option. In any situation and in any walk of life, there are going to be both negatives as well as positives. In the situation of workplace abuse of the athletic trainers, the negatives far outweigh the positives. Hendricks, Acevedo, and Hibbert did an excellent job of pointing out that when an athletic trainer is neglected and made to feel inferior, he experiences three distinct emotions: depersonalization, emotional exhaustion, as well as a lack of personal accomplishment. Depersonalization is feeling as though there's no significance to said person's existence. It can be an outward sign of depression. Emotional exhaustion lends itself to athletic trainers. Athletic trainers pour their hearts and soul into teams, the athletic training room, and the profession in general. And when they feel neglected, they feel as though everything is for naught. And finally, a lack of personal accomplishment. To show up every day at work and feel as though you accomplish nothing, and that you're low man on the totem pole, and that your input doesn't matter. That's a lack of personal accomplishment, because what are you showing up for every day? You're showing up just to leave again. Any combo of the above points are strong examples of negative for outweighing the positives. Despite constant talk of negativity, there are several positive points that do exist. Kaiser points out, professional satisfaction comes in many different ways to athletic trainers. What is meant by that? All athletic trainers have different points that bring them satisfaction and joy in this profession. No two athletic trainers necessarily pull the same joy out of the profession. Athletic training is a very rewarding and satisfying career. Athletic trainers are constantly helping athletes no matter which level, and it's satisfying to see them succeed, be it in high school, collegiate, or professionally. That one day when you have an athlete come back and say you made a difference makes it possibly one of the more rewarding careers. And as Kaiser stated, all progress comes with some pain. Once athletic trainers recognize that progress will come despite the pain that we go through, then pushing for progress should come quicker, and more people should stand behind the effort. Despite the knowledge athletic trainers have in regards to workplace abuse, there are still difficult decisions to be made due to the fact that despite all of the negativity, athletic trainers do need to earn a living. They still need to focus on earning that living, providing for their family, maintaining their benefits, as well as doing the best they can to advance their own careers. In regards to the long hours, the only other option is unemployment. When you compare long hours versus unemployment, long hours are going to win, and athletic trainers will work. They always have, and they always will. In saying no, no is an option. As mentioned, Wham stated, being a team player is a valuable asset, but we've allowed ourselves to be abused. When you can say, no, I don't have time to cover the off-season sport. No, I can't come in for your optional practice. No, I won't be able to take that doctor's run because it's my lunch hour. Only then will athletic trainers start to garner a little bit of respect, more so than the low man on the totem pole. One person doing 2 full-time jobs. How fair is it that a high school athletic trainer is a teacher as well as an athletic trainer and receives the salary of one person? Yet, high school football coaches or baseball coaches receive a stipend to do what they do on top of their teaching duties. At some point in time, high school athletic trainers, as well as other athletic trainers in that same standpoint, need to band together or take individual stances to say we need further compensation for what we do. Doing 2 jobs for the cost of one isn't fair. And does declining a job truthfully mean anything? And by declining a job, stating, does a $20, $22, or $25,000 salary when peers within that same company may be making $35, $40, $45,000? Does the NATA or do athletic trainers individually as jobs and accepting that we'll be able to survive when it becomes increasingly difficult as well as demeaning? Athletic trainers need to find a way to break the cycle of workplace abuse, to have a method to their madness, to getting through to people and having them understand that athletic trainers are educated as well as hardworking individuals. Step 1 would be a united front. Athletic trainers need to get together, no individualism, no people willing to take the jobs for less money while other people are trying to stand up and do what's right for the profession. Once you have a united front, you can move forward into face-to-face meetings. Go talk to your supervisor. Ask them questions. Why am I the first here and the last to leave, yet I'm the lowest paid? Why am I expected to work holidays, yet nobody else is? Why can somebody else make my schedule, but nobody's accountable for theirs but themselves? Take your job description. Let them see what you do on a daily basis. Maybe they may not know. They may not understand what an athletic trainer truthfully does, especially in the industrial setting where it's a truthful HR manager that may not have a true comprehension. Make sure they understand that the athletic trainer is an early arriver as well as a late leaver, but their responsibilities are numerous, and they go well beyond taping ankles and massaging. They sustain life, they're there as a first responder, and in severe emergencies, they're going to be the best chance that athlete may have, on top of all the rehabilitation, as well as saving finances when it comes to physical therapy that companies don't think of. And honesty. Go face to face and explain to them why you're feeling this way. The worst anybody's ever going to tell you is no. Go up, be honest. Tell them why you feel athletic trainers need to be respected. Taking those 4 points of a united front, standing together, face-to-face meetings, ask questions, look somebody in an eye, and have them give you an answer. Take your job description. Make sure they understand what an athletic trainer does. And honesty. Ask the questions, tell them what you're feeling, and see what the end result is. All those four things coupled together are not going to have a bad result. Everything is going to start with athletic trainers. Nobody is going to support or understand an athletic trainer like an athletic trainer does. We understand our education, our capabilities, our strengths, our weaknesses, as well as how we can band together. Learn to say no. Say no to the extra work without extra compensation. Say no to being stretched too thin. Say no to ignoring your family. Say no to the extra things that everybody else wants you to do that they would not do themselves. Coupled with athletic trainers banding together, it could bring a surprise to some people who are used to athletic trainers always saying yes and always being a pushover. Keep an open line of communication with staffs. That's so important to do with your coaches. Invite them down. Let them see what you do. If that coach has that snide remark or rolls their eyes, invite them. They may be surprised to see how you multitask, to see what you juggle on a daily basis. Only then will they appreciate how much you do for them and how much you do towards their career, and they may do the same for you on the back end. And hold a coach's lunch. Have an informal conference just to educate them. So many coaches and so many front office personnel don't have a true comprehension of the medical things that we go through. Pick some hot topics like a slap tear, an oblique, a labral tear in the hip, Tommy John. Have a physician sponsorship who will pay for lunch and explain to them these things so it will alleviate some of the questions and some of the stress that you may inadvertently go through when they do not understand the injuries. Only maybe when they sit at the table together will they truthfully pay attention versus sitting across the table with an injury report when all they want to hear is can he play or can't he play. I hope this presentation has been both informational as well as enjoyable. I have a couple questions to finish up with the presentation, and hopefully you can give some positive feedback and we can have a good dialogue. Number one, is it possible for the NATA to set standard hiring parameters for ATCs to follow? An example would be a salary minimum. Should athletic trainers have to accept a $12,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 salary in a day and age when gas is just sub $4? Or how many hours per week should an athletic trainer have to work before they get overtime, as a lot of people do through the federal government? 2. Are athletic trainers to blame for accepting the subpar situations for too long? In other words, is it too late for us to reverse path? Are we the ones who have created this monster, or is it truthfully we've been backed into a situation from the point in time before athletic trainers were educated, seeing as we are still a young profession, especially from the education standpoint? And finally, would taking a stand against poor treatment in work situations open eyes, or would taking that stand cause animosity among coworkers? For example, would a college athletic training room standing up against the athletic department upstairs asking why their salaries are sometimes 2 to 3 times less than a basketball coach with a losing record, would that open eyes, or would that cause animosity amongst the staff saying we're more important than you are? Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? Just food for thought. Thank you.